headed to the dinosaur den. Let's follow these footprints and check out these creatures that roamed the Earth millions of years ago. Linda, what's your favorite part of this exhibit here?
My favorite part is the fact that visitors can touch so many fossils that were the remains of actual dinosaurs that once roamed New Jersey. You can touch a fossilized egg, which is right here.
This is so cool. You can actually touch a real dinosaur egg. Wow. I don't know about you, but I can make one mean omelet out of this egg.
We have actual models of nests. Some eggs were round, some were oval. Trace fossils, the footprints that dinosaurs made. We have a wonderful mural that depicts what New Jersey looked like when dinosaurs roamed this garden state. A fossil is the remain of a dinosaur, a living animal that once lived on the earth. Over time, pressure being applied to the actual bones, they actually transform and become stone-like.
They become stone. And that takes millions of years?
Many millions of years.
Many millions of years.
Yep.
This is so cool. See, dinosaurs came in all sorts of sizes. Some were about the size of humans, raptors down here. But some, like the Argentinosaurus, this dinosaur was as big as a Boeing 747 jet airplane. Just to give you a sense of how big dinosaurs really could get, this giant bone right here was just the leg bone, and it's taller than me. It's huge. You have an actual model of a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull here at the museum?
We do, and it's actually a very famous model. You'll notice that it's a slightly misshapen skull, and the reason for that is over many millions of years, as the pressure of the Earth was applied, the dinosaur's head got a little misshapen.
The Tyrannosaurus has very razor-sharp teeth, right?
That's correct.
And what does that tell us about what kind of food it ate millions of years ago?
That tells us that that dinosaur was probably a meat-eating dinosaur, known as a carnivore.
Off to eat and be eaten. Many animals adapt in amazing ways to survive in the wild. For some, their skin or fur can act as camouflage, so they blend right into their environment.
Here in the Eat and Be Eaten exhibition, this is all about the food chain. Who eats who and who sometimes gets eaten by who. In here we have the redfoot tortoises. These guys are native to South America and they love to eat all different kinds of fruit. It is their absolute favorite food. And if you see in here, there's also some golden finches flying around. These guys are the degus. They live in central Chile and down in South America and live way high up in the mountains. They're kind of like a gerbil that you might see in the pet store. One of these very silly things about these guys, they love to store food in their cheeks. So their cheeks get big and puffy as they collect all different kinds of seeds and nuts. In here, we see the burrfish. And just like other members in the pufferfish family, if they get threatened or scared at all, they can puff up into a huge ball to scare off anybody who might want to make a snack out of them. And you can see all those sharp spines all over their back would make them a very unappetizing meal. So these are our Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Now these are very different than the cockroaches you'd see in the city garbage cans.
I hope so.
Exactly. These guys love to live in dark, moldy old logs and wedge themselves in and eat old bits of vegetation. You saw we just gave them. There, they're coming out.
Oh,
Soup's on. These are the newest addition to our Liberty Science Center family, the cotton-top tamarins. These wonderful little monkeys, they're extremely vocal. They have many different sounds that they use to communicate within their family. That's one of my favorite parts about these monkeys. They stick together in big family groups. And when it's time to have a baby, all of the grown-ups in the entire family take care of the little baby all together.
So Brent, tell us about these amazing bison here in the zoo.
These are one of the largest land animals in North America. They used to roam the western United States in herds of thousands. The zoo experience in the winter is very different than the zoo experience in the summer. Animals that we have out year-round are animals that can take this kind of climate. So they have that big shaggy coat.
Now, are they eating these Christmas trees?
They'll eat a little bit of it. We give them hay, and hay is their staple diet. The trees are something that they play with and they beat up. But
I was going to say, I mean, it looks like they're actually just playing. I was really surprised at how big they actually were.
These are full grown. It's a male and two females. The male's the one on the left-hand side, larger animal, bigger hump in the back, larger horns. The two females are in there on the right.
Yeah, so I noticed they have this incredible fur. They have large hooves. They have a giant head, and on top of their head are these massive horns. Who are they defending themselves from? What are the predators of the bison in the wild?
Wolves.
Wolves. How much do they actually weigh, full grown?
About 1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds. Wow, that's like half a car.
Yep. They're a big animal. They're strong animals, so we're very careful when we work with them.
If I saw a bison in the wild, I would not want to get close to it.
Not want to get close to it, not want to get out of your car.
Yeah, which is another great reason why visiting a zoo is so awesome. Because we get to stand so close and we're safe and protected and we can see this amazing creature up close. So cool.
Alex and the Kaleidoscope!
Our first stop on this scientific journey is the I Explore exhibit.
That's right, Alex. We have a very fun day at Liberty Science Center planned for you guys.
What exactly am I going to be able to do here at this exhibit?
Well, today, Alex, I think we're going to play some music on some rocks. I think we'll race some cars down a hill, but we have to put the tires on first. Then we're going to paint with water on a big rock wall and watch it disappear. And then I think we'll launch some balls through the air.
We're about to rock out and make our own music on a giant rock xylophone. Thomas, looks like we're going to be playing some music over here.
We are. We're going to rock and roll using our stone tones here. We're going to hit our stone xylophone here and see how loud of the sound we can make and feel the vibrations, that shaking motion of the rocks after we hit it. Can we try that?
Please.
You ready?
Let's do it.
So. Now, that sounds pretty good. Let's put our hand very lightly on it. You can feel that.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty neat, huh? That shaking, that's where that sound comes from. Exactly. Let's try it again. Let's do a little bit more. See if we can really whack it super hard and then feel that vibration again. Oh, that's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Now, I know you like to play music. And one of my favorite things is when we're singing and playing music is to feel the vibrations of the sound in our throat. And I know, can we sing a note together? Let's sing a,
sure.
Can you feel that vibration in your throat too?
I can, yeah.
Isn't that great? That same sound, that same vibration that we were getting here from the rock, we can still feel that sound vibration in our throats too. Pretty cool.
Check out this cool 2-story ball machine.
This is one of my favorite parts of Liberty Science Center. This is our ball launcher.
It has a special air cannon that can help you launch a ball on a trip through a maze. Air pressure is what gets these balls soaring.
Now here you have the opportunity to launch balls in all sorts of different directions and control which way they go down the ramps. Are you ready to try it?
Absolutely. All right, so this green ball is gonna go up in there.
Mm-hmm. Toss it right in.
Here we go.
And in it goes. What we're gonna do, we're going to turn a wheel that's going to lift a very heavy piece of metal.
Right, I think it's almost there.
Under that piece of metal, we're gonna create a big space of air. When the big piece of metal drops, all that air is going to push out through a tube and send our ball up to that bullseye right there.
Next up, we learn about evaporation. How does this work? I don't see any paint anywhere.
Exactly, you're right. All we have is our paintbrush and the water. Usually if you're gonna paint, you'd need some more paint, some watercolors to mix with this. But this is a very special paint wall. It's made of a kind of rock called slate. The thing I like about slate the most is that when you paint on it with some water, if you give it a little bit of time, it starts to disappear. Now, the water's not really disappearing, it's changing. It's going from liquid water to water vapor, going back out into the air around us.
I'm gonna draw a happy face.
I like it.
All right, here we go.
Maybe I'll draw a comet.
Now, maybe you can tell me what I'm drawing.
Okay, I'll guess.
Here we go.
It's a guitar.
Yes!
Fantastic. But Alex, look, right under your guitar, you remember where we painted those lines earlier?
Yeah.
They've already started to disappear. And if you look really, look, it's disappearing right before our eyes. It's evaporating right there.
How does building your own race car sound?
Now I'm gonna give you one of our car bodies here. I'm gonna take one too. Now, we have 2 different size tires for you to try.
All
We
right.
have some really, really big ones or some really, really small ones. Now, it's up to you. What do you think? What would you like to put on your car? What do you think's gonna win the race? The big wheels or the small wheels?
I think the big wheels.
I think the big wheels, all right. Well, just for fun, for the experiment, there's your 4. I'll do small wheels.
All right.
Let's see
Here
what
we
happens.
go. Will the larger wheeled car outrace the smaller wheeled car? All right, time to find out if it's the big wheels or the small wheels that are gonna win this race. Thomas and I challenge each other and race our cars on this test track. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't even make it to the end.
So why do you think, Alex? What do you think slowed the big wheels down and made the small wheels go fast?
Well, I imagine with the big wheels, there's more surface that actually has to turn for it to get to the bottom.
That's what I think so too. Because the wheels are bigger, it takes them longer to go around, so the small wheels are gonna get there faster.
And they're heavier, too.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. I think those are so heavy, it takes them a little while to get started too, where our small wheels, they're right down the track.
Yeah, so in this case, less is more.
I like it.
Science experiment.
My favorite part of the iExplore exhibit is conducting my first science experiment of the day. I get to make snow.
This is called instant snow.
Okay.
It's a very, very special kind of plastic, which actually kind of behaves like salt. Doesn't look much like snow yet, does it? Looks
No.
more like sand and feels more like sand. What do you
Yeah,
think?
or like salt.
Exactly, yeah. So what we're going to do with it, we're going to give it a little bit of water and then see what happens.
All right.
Are you ready? We're going to add 1 cup of water, dump the whole thing in. Now let's watch very carefully.
Wait for it. Whoa, look at that.
And
Oh,
there it goes. Pretty cool, huh?
it's awesome. Instant snow.
Alex and the Kaleidoscope.
Another stop on our aquarium adventure is a visit with the frogs. Unlike many of the sea animals we've seen today who live in saltwater, frogs live in ponds, lakes, and marshes. Frogs belong to a group of animals called amphibians. Amphibians are animals that spend part of their lives in water and part on land. My favorite thing about a frog is its tongue. A frog throws its sticky tongue out of its mouth to catch an insect and then snaps it back inside. Not exactly how humans use their tongues to eat. We need our tongues to chew, swallow, talk, taste, even sing. All right, my friends, we have had a wonderful day here at the Morris Museum, and we are now in my favorite exhibit of all, the musical instrument room. We're surrounded by cool instruments from old times and new, and we're here with my friend Jerry, who's gonna tell us about what we can find here.
Well, we're standing inside the Guinness Gallery here at the Morris Museum, and there's a huge collection of mechanical musical instruments and automata, the mechanical dolls of the collection. And all of them are mechanical musical instruments. So there's a whole wide range of music they play, and they represent a lot of different countries where they were actually manufactured.
Tell me a little bit about how they work.
Some of them actually have keyboards, like a regular piano, so you can play it manually by hand.
So these are all played without electricity, correct?
Some are without electricity, but many of them, after electricity and electric motors became dependable in the early 1900s, some of them were made automatic play via coin drop and electric motor drives.
I see. So this is like the precursor to the iPod, I guess. Huh?
Exactly.
Now, what do we have here?
This is a disc musical box. It plays a metal record. It was made just after 1900, about 1903. It was made in Switzerland. The model was the Myra, but it was made in St. Croix, Switzerland by the Mermode Music Box Company.
Oh, there it goes. So it's turning. So, Jerry, how does this work exactly? I see a lot of little holes here in this metal disc. Can you explain that to me, please?
Yeah, the holes are punched, and there's a little projection on the bottom side. So when you look at the bottom side of the disc, there's all these little bumps.
Yep.
And as the disc turns, those little projections turn the little gear there to pluck the tooth in the comb.
I see.
And the vibrating reed actually creates a musical tone.
It's a very beautiful sound.
The one right in front of you is a roller organ called the gem roller organ. It was made in Ithaca, New York, about 1903, and it's a reed organ, so it plays reeds similar to what you'd find in an accordion or a harmonica.
Wow, so this still works 111 years later?
Unbelievably, yep.
Can I try it?
Go right for it.
All right, here we go. Oh, I know that song. Wow, that is so neat. Tell us about this one. We've got one more here. It looks really interesting, and it looks a little different than these two. Tell us about it.
It predates the other ones. This is a typical Swiss-made cylinder music box. It dates from, it's typical of what you would have seen from about 1820 straight through to about 1865.
So it's older than these two.
Much older.
Much older.
And there's a pinned brass cylinder. There was tiny little steel pins in it that hold the musical programming.
I see that.
And as the pins come around, they pluck the teeth in the comb, and the comb teeth vibrate to create musical tones.
Can we hear it?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jerry, for sharing these beautiful musical instruments with us. I think they look neat, they sound beautiful, and I'm so glad we got a chance to see them here. Oh, look, it's a magical crystal. Actually, this is called an amethyst, and this is a giant amethyst crystal. In fact, this whole room is full of crystals and rocks and minerals. Come on, let's go check it out. The many beautiful rocks here at the museum come from all over the world. Rocks come in many different colors, shapes, and sizes. Shades of blue, green, pink, purple, brown, gray, and silver. Some even have a cool mix of colors. Our Earth is made of rocks and minerals. And if you dig deep enough, you're bound to hit rocks.
Alex the Kaleidoscope.
So this is called the Popper's Rex, and this is the largest orchestrion in this museum. Now, an orchestrion is a musical instrument that contains lots of different musical instruments inside. So behind this glass, there are drums and organs and xylophones and all sorts of other fun stuff. Look, down here, we have electric motors that turn and blow air through the organ pipes. And up here on this paper roll, this is where the actual music is written. This is what tells the orchestrion what to play. And look at this tiny little button here. Should we find out what this does? I sure want to know. Here we go. There go the motors. And there go the bellows. And look, the paper's moving, and I think whoa! That's so cool. So the next instrument I want to show you is called the violano virtuoso, and this is actually the precursor to the modern day jukebox. I'm gonna take this nickel and put it inside, and we're gonna see what happens. But first, come on, take a look. This is our punch paper roll. This will turn, and it's gonna tell this instrument exactly what notes to play. And up here, this is so cool, check it out. This is a real violin that's gonna be played automatically by all these motors and levers. And in the back, if you can see that, that's a real piano. Here we go. Gotta get it right. Wow, that was so cool. Did you enjoy that? We're off to Penguin Island. Standing about 12 inches high, these African penguins are one of 17 penguin species. A species is a group of animals that are similar to each other. Of the 17 species of penguins in the world, only 7 live where it's cold. And the African penguins are not one of them. So here we are at the aquarium with my friend Jen. And Jen, what do we have here?
These are 2 of our juvenile African or black-footed penguins.
Will they turn black and white at some point?
Absolutely. This is their second set of feathers, and this is what we call their juvenile plumage. So when they first hatch out of their egg, they have very soft down feathers that are not waterproof. Right around, say, about 3 months of age, which is what these guys are, they're gonna molt. All those little soft downy feathers are gonna fall off, and this sort of silver coloration is gonna come in. These feathers are waterproof, and this is when mom and dad would start encouraging them to come down to the ocean, learning how to swim and starting to find food on their own. So they'll keep this particular plumage till they're somewhere between a year, year and a half, and then they'll grow in new feathers that are the more typical black and white that you think of for penguins.
Right.
And at that time, they'd be considered an adult penguin.
So penguins are birds, correct?
Yes, penguins are a bird, although they are a little bit different because they cannot fly. Penguins are very good swimmers, so they sort of fly through the water.
Right, and their wings here seem to look almost like flippers.
They do use their wings to power them through the water, and then they lay their feet out behind them, so they'll use their feet and their tail to kind of help them steer. They do have an oil gland at the base of their tail, and it helps them to be waterproof. It's kind of hidden right back here, and they'll collect the oil from that area and they'll spread it all around on their feathers. Just helps with the water to bead right off.
What do these African penguins eat?
They are predominantly fish eaters, but they do eat some different types of invertebrates. In Africa, one of their main food sources would be sardines. We tried to offer our colony sardines, and they didn't really appreciate them so much. So we feed, the majority of their food is capelin, and then we also offer herring and squid.
This is so cool. Thank you, Jen, for sharing
You're very welcome. Nice to
with
have
us
you.
and letting us know about these African penguins. Thanks.
Campfires make a circle, and each one has a place. Side by side around the face of the dancing, laughing fireplace flame. Campfires make a circle, and each one has a place.
This zoo venture is amazing.
Yeah! Llamas! Leopard! Pig! Cow! Sheep! Horse! Red panda. Even alligators. Alex the Kaleidoscope. Treehouse Shaker.
Get ready to have the most fun you've ever had recycling different materials.
If we use what we've got, we don't need such a lot.
We're going to play a game of Trashketball. Now, this just isn't any recycling game. This is a monstrous 4-foot slingshot that we are going to use to sort different recyclable materials into our different recyclable bins.
The solution will recycle, become the solution.
We have a couple different kinds here. We have the plastic and metal, so things like bottles and cans, stuff like that.
To recycle means we reuse the garbage waste.
Then in the middle, we'd have food waste. Now, although that's not recyclable in the way that we could turn it into something else, it's great for composting. Say you want to put it in your garden, make a worm farm. And last, we have those paper. Of course, paper comes from trees. We know how important that is. We want to recycle as much paper as possible, so we cut down less trees.
Such a lot of new materials to fill the shops. We won't throw away what increases the pollution. We'll recycle, become the solution. We'll recycle, become the solution.
Alex the Kaleidoscope.
Brent, this is a red panda?
Correct.
I always think of pandas as the big black and white bears.
Giant pandas are. These are red pandas.
Oh, those are giant pandas.
These guys come from the mountains in the Himalayas, and they're a bamboo feeder also. These guys will eat thousands of bamboo leaves a day, and they love this weather. So this is the best time to come to the zoo and see them.
Yeah.
Snow leopards are one of the rarest big cats in the world. These guys are hunters in high elevations. That gray coat blends into the rockwork that they hunt in, and they just love this snowy weather here.
Visiting the zoo in the winter is so fun, but after exploring in the cold, chilly air, I definitely need to warm up. Off to the reptile house. Here we are in the reptile house. And the first thing I noticed, Brent, is that it's warm in here. can you tell us about the reptiles we have here?
This is one of the other things that makes the zoo a fun place to go to in the winter. We've got a great place for you to come in and warm up. Reptiles are cold-blooded. They don't produce a body temperature, so we have to keep them warm. Go out, you walk around the zoo and it's cold, you come in here and warm up and get to see some really cool animals.
That's for sure.
Reptiles are snakes, lizards, turtles, and we also have some amphibians in here. So we have poison dart frogs. And our reptiles go from an 18-foot reticulated python down to smaller reptiles.
I noticed the largest exhibit in this room is the Komodo dragon right behind us.
Komodo dragon.
Just the name Komodo dragon gets me excited. Tell us about this beautiful creature you have here.
Dragons have fascinated people throughout history. They are found in Asian culture, they're found in European culture. The Komodo dragons come from a series of islands off of Indonesia, and they're only found on those islands, which is what makes them so rare.
Look at that tongue. So big. Yeah.
They are one of the largest lizards in the world. They get to be 10 feet long. They weigh 200 pounds.
Wow.
They're a massive animal, and they're just fascinating.
When I think of dragons, I think of fire-breathing creatures that fly down from the sky. Why do we think of dragons like that?
Well, Komodo dragons don't fly, but they do have a red tongue. And some of the theory is that when they would flick that red tongue out there, that was where the fire-breathing legends came from. And so that
makes a lot of sense.
All these legends have some sort of basis in something that people saw or heard at some point.
Wow, Komodo dragon is awesome.
One of the other exhibits we have here is a reticulated python.
Snake.
She's almost 18 feet long and 135 pounds.
Wow. You're not gonna find a snake that big in a pet store, huh?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Why so dangerous?
Well, she's a constrictor, and her teeth are a little bit over half an inch long, so when she attacks, she'll grab you, pull you into her coils, and then constrict.
Wow. And constrict means?
Her body goes around you and stops your ribs from moving, which stops your lungs from moving.
So they just squeeze away, squeeze and squeeze and squeeze.
Doesn't break bones, usually, but stops your lungs from moving.
Wow. Scary, but cool. People either love snakes or they're terrified of them. Either way, they are fascinating creatures. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yes, they are fascinating. I think that the people are afraid of snakes because they're so different than we are. They don't have arms and legs, they don't have eyelids, they don't have hair. So the legends of snakes staring you down, they don't have eyelids, they can't blink their eyes.
Right.
So that's different than we are, and anything that's different than we are is something that's a little bit strange or scary for us.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have hands that they can use, so they have to swallow their food items whole. Reticulated pythons are also the longest species of snake in the world and have been reported up to 33 feet.
Wow.
So she's 18 feet, that's almost twice as big as she is right now. And the name reticulated comes from the pattern on the back. It's a web-like design, and it's good camouflage for her. She's an ambush predator. She sits and waits for a food item to come past, and then will reach out and grab it. She's not likely to chase something down.
Right. Patience. So, Brent, most of the exhibits we've seen here have one kind of animal in one exhibit. But behind us, we have something special. We have many different species of animals all living together in harmony. Tell us about this exhibit and what we can find here.
This is our Asian forest exhibit, and that's exactly what we're trying to show. Animals don't live by themselves. So in this exhibit, we have 3 different species of birds, 2 different species of turtle, and a lizard. And that's what you could find if you were in a forest in Asia. We have a pair of white-crested laughing thrushes. We have ballyminas.
Wait, say that again?
White-crested laughing thrush.
Laughing thrush?
Laughing thrush.
Does that mean they laugh?
They make a lot of noise. Sort of like a blue jay. That personality, that attitude.
Got it.
And we have crested wood partridges, and we have ballyminas.
Cool.
And the ballyminas are an endangered species.
Huh. Now, is that a mina bird, the kind of bird that sings and talks back?
Same family.
Same family.
Different species, though.
Got it.
These guys are all white with blue masks.
Uh-huh.
And then we have elongated tortoises and spiny hill turtles and a prehensile-tailed skink.
All right, friends, we are about to do a really cool experiment here with my friend Susan. Susan, what is going on here?
What we're going to be looking at is liquid nitrogen. Have you ever heard about liquid nitrogen? What's in the air that you breathe?
I breathe oxygen, that's for sure.
You're absolutely correct. And you know what? Most people think oxygen pollution, that's it. But 78% of your air is indeed nitrogen in a gaseous form. We happen to have nitrogen in a liquid form right here. What's some observation that you can make?
Well, it looks like it's boiling.
Excellent word. I like the fact that you are saying that. In fact, it is boiling. And we normally think in terms of boiling, meaning a temperature, hot. Well, watch this. You think it's boiling, let's find out if it is. I'm gonna add a little liquid nitrogen to this. If you normally apply some heat, what's the sound that's normally produced?
Oh, it whistles.
It whistles.
Right.
Let's find out if it's gonna whistle.
Hey.
We definitely have a boiling liquid, all right? But is it hot or is it not? So why don't you take your finger and then very quickly, do not leave it there, that would not be correct. Very quickly, just swipe down the back.
Ooh, it's ice cold.
It's ice cold, you're absolutely right, because the boiling temperature of liquid nitrogen on a Fahrenheit scale is negative 320 degrees.
Really cold.
That is really cold. Boiling doesn't mean hot at all. It's not temperature related.
Right.
What it means is a change of state. So we added a lot of liquid nitrogen in here. Let's see how much comes out. Very, very little.
It's almost all gone.
Exactly. And if we kept that in this, this container right here, this vessel, and allowed it to continue to boil off, nothing would come out.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, right?
It would have all boiled away.
It would have all boiled away. Evaporation, that's what it's all about. What would happen to this banana if we place this in liquid nitrogen?
I imagine it'll freeze very quickly.
Let's see what happens to those cells. So we're gonna place this one down here.
How long has it been in there?
Oh my goodness, it seemed like it was less than a minute.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? It's very, very quick. So what we can do is absolutely show our viewers that. And let's take this piece of wood.
All right.
And I'm just gonna hold this nail here. I need you to take this banana and try to hammer that nail into that piece of wood. Let's try another area. Perfect.
There we go.
Wow, there we go.
It's going right in. I hammered the nail into this block of wood with a frozen banana, which has been sitting in liquid nitrogen for just 60 seconds.
Well, what we're hoping to do is recreate a little bit of the water cycle. We have collection of water, the sun is shining, you have evaporation, right?
Sure.
All those molecules heading up into a much colder atmosphere, condensing into clouds. At that point, what's gonna happen if they get too full? It's gonna come down. Hopefully, we can do just a little section of that. So we have that word boiling again because we've added boiling hot water, 212 degrees on a Fahrenheit scale, all right? And we can see some steam rising up, or some water vapor rather, rising up. But we're going to top it off with our very cold, boiling liquid nitrogen.
I'm pretty excited.
Excellent. I need you to stay right back there.
I'm gonna step back
and
here.
would you like to do a countdown, sir?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Oh my goodness.
And we have condensation.
It's amazing how the clouds we created in our science experiment look just like the clouds in our blue sky. This is so exciting. I am suiting up here and getting ready to feed the sea turtles. Come on, let's go. All right.
All right, so you're gonna face me on your way down. 2 hands. Step at a time, perfect.
All right, well, here we are. We are actually floating on top of the Ocean Realm exhibit. And behind me, I can see sharks, stingrays, fish, and actually the largest creature in this tank, sea turtles. And I'm here with my friend Carrie, and she's gonna tell us about these amazing creatures right here behind me. Carrie, tell me about the sea turtles.
Well, there are 7 species of sea turtles in the ocean. We have 2 of them actually right here in Ocean Realm.
Carrie, where can we find sea turtles?
Sea turtles are going to be found anywhere where the water's a little bit warmer, in the Atlantic and the Pacific.
So, Carrie, tell me exactly what kind of sea turtles we have here in this exhibit.
Here in Ocean Realm, we have 2 kinds of sea turtles. There are 7 that are out in the ocean. One of them's called the green sea turtle, and one of them's called the loggerhead sea turtle.
So, what makes a green sea turtle a green sea turtle?
Green sea turtles actually have green fat in their bodies because they eat turtle grass, which is green, so it makes them green fat.
That makes sense. And the other turtle was called?
The loggerhead sea turtle.
And why are they called a loggerhead sea
They have a very, very large, broad head is why they call them loggerhead sea turtles.
Huh. So when I think of sea turtles, or turtles in general, really, I think of them as old and slow-moving and kind of the wise creatures of the world. Is there truth to that?
They are old. They can get to be up to 40 to 100 years old is what they've seen.
And when they're swimming, they do move relatively slow because they're so big, right?
They do.
How big do they actually get?
Well, some can reach up to 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
However, ours are about 350 to 400 pounds.
Are you guys ready? We are going to feed the sea turtles. Come on. So I know that fish can swim under the water for as long as they want because they breathe underwater.
With gills.
But turtles have a special way of breathing. They breathe just like you and I.
Yes, they do.
Right? Tell me about that.
They have lungs just like you and I, and they can go down underwater and sleep for a certain amount of time, and then just like you and I, they need to come up for breath.
So they actually hold their breath and sleep underwater?
They do.
For how long can they last underwater?
I think it's probably about 3 to 10 minutes they can usually sleep underwater.
What has made these sea turtles endangered?
Well, Alex, a lot of things are making them endangered. A few of them, fishermen are catching them in their nets and they're getting injured that way. Pollution can injure them through ingesting anything. Also littering, garbage. They get soda wrappers wrapped around their head and they can suffocate.
That's why it's so important not to pollute. It can help save these beautiful creatures of the sea. This is my friend Mary, and she's gonna tell us a little bit about what we can find in the shark tank.
Well, welcome, Alex. I'm so happy to see you here.
So behind me in this shark tank, there are 3 different types of sharks.
We have sandbar, sand tiger, and nurse sharks.
Now, when I think of sharks, the first thing I think about is that big mouth and those really sharp teeth.
Exactly. They do need teeth, so they can eat just like me and you do, Alex. These guys like to eat fish. That's typically what we feed them here at Adventure Aquarium. A shark, depending on the species, they can have between 100 to 300 teeth. Our sharks in our shark realm, they typically lose 1 tooth a day, so they can typically go through 20,000 to 30,000 teeth in a lifetime.
Wow, almost 300 teeth in one shark mouth. Tell me a little bit about those fins that we always associate with the shark.
I can tell the difference between them if I look at their dorsal fins, and those are the fins that you're seeing when you're on your boat.
So we can tell the different sharks apart by looking at their fins.
Exactly. Our sandbar sharks, they have 2 different sized dorsal fins, and then our sand tiger sharks, they have the same size dorsal fins.
I heard there's an amazing hammerhead shark here at the Adventure Aquarium. Now, most sharks have that pointy kind of snout, but a hammerhead shark is different.
We do have 2 species, the bonnethead and the great hammerhead. The great hammerhead, his face is called a cephalofoil.
And are their eyes actually on the sides of their head?
Exactly.
Why?
It actually helps them being able to see a lot better. They have a bigger range of view.
What does the hammerhead like to eat?
Stingrays.
Stingrays. Wow. Do you feed them live stingrays?
We actually do not feed them stingrays. We feed them fish, also large pieces of squid as well.
Cool. There are many different types of sharks, and one of the best ways to identify them is to look at the colors and patterns on their skin. What makes each shark actually have different colors, whether it's polka dots or stripes?
It helps them just blend into their surroundings. That way bigger sharks or something else won't try to eat them.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about their bones and what makes them be able to wiggle and move so smoothly?
Their skeleton is made out of cartilage, so like the wiggly parts of your nose. That helps them be able to bend and twist and move when going after their prey.
Well, it certainly looks like that when you watch them. Next up on our sea life adventure is a visit to the Stingray Beach Club. So what do we have here?
Welcome to Stingray Beach Club, Alex.
Awesome.
There are 200 species of stingrays. Some live in saltwater, some live in freshwater. We have 4 amazing saltwater species in our exhibit here today.
Can I touch these?
Exactly, just 2 fingers along their backs.
Here they come. Oh, I got it spin. They're kind of slimy.
Exactly. That slime actually helps eliminate slack, so it actually makes it a little bit easier for them to swim in the water.
It looks like they're flying.
It does look like they're flying. They move their wings up and down, kind of like a bird.
Yeah, look at that. They're flapping away. Such a unique shape.
The ones that are round and flat, they typically hang out at the bottom of the ocean where it's really sandy.
Yeah.
But then our cownose rays, the ones that are shaped kind of more like a kite, those guys like to hang out more in the middle of the water column, so they will keep moving.
It looks like that's the biggest one you have in here.
You're absolutely correct. He is our leopard whiptail ray. Whoop.
Now, he is literally covered in leopard spots.
You got it. Those leopard spots actually help him blend into his surroundings, just like the sharks that touch a shark.
Right. What do these guys eat?
That's a good question, Alex. They like to eat things like crustaceans, so like a crab or fish.
Okay, wow, look at them.
They definitely do like to splash just like we would if we were out in the ocean or in a swimming pool.
Yeah. He's giving me a high five. He just came right up to me. Let's see if we can do a high five with the stingray.
Oh, I think maybe this one.
High five! Do they sting with that tail or what? How does that help them swim? What's it there for?
So their tail is used so they can kind of navigate around in the water. They sting with something that's called a barb. It comes to a point and it's serrated on both sides. They don't go out and hunt with it. They use it just sheer protection. Most times when humans get stung by a stingray, it's when we accidentally step on them.
Right.
So we typically get our injuries from our foot, our ankle, or our legs. But I have never been stung by one of these stingrays before.
Do they have teeth in those mouths?
They do have teeth. These guys actually grind up their food.
Stingrays are at the top of my list for favorite creatures. On my way to the Touch a Shark exhibit, where I'll be able to touch and feel these amazing sea creatures. So Mary, this looks so exciting. Where are we right now?
We are at Touch a Shark.
Touch a Shark?
That's right, Touch a Shark.
Ah!
You're not a fish, are you?
I'm definitely not a fish.
Well, then you have nothing to worry about.
The water's kind of warm, and I've got my 2 fingers. I'm about to touch the shark. Whoa! Wow. It feels kind of like sandpaper.
That's correct, Alex. They are covered in little teeny tiny little teeth. They're called dermal denticles.
Little teeth? Wow. So this one is all brown, and the one next to it is covered in stripes. Are they 2 different kinds of sharks?
Exactly. So the one you were touching is called a Mexican horned shark, and her friend laying next to her is a white spotted bamboo shark.
All right, so they're about this long, and you said these are fully grown sharks.
Exactly.
So they're not gonna get much bigger than this?
Nope, only 20% of sharks actually get bigger than us humans. Most of them are either our size or smaller.
So where can we find these sharks in the wild?
Certainly, so our white spotted bamboo sharks and our brown banded bamboo sharks, you can find them in coastal waters in Indonesia, Thailand, and Japan.
Far away from here, huh?
Far away from here.
And how about this brown shark? Where can you find
Sure,
him?
our Mexican horned shark, you can find her in the Western Pacific.
We're about to leave the station. So yes, get on board as we visit with my friend Bruce, who shares how he created this amazing model railroad. He built this entire place. What is it about trains that everybody loves?
Trains are in everybody's heart. It's got a universal appeal, and we've done it in a big way.
What is the total amount of tracks in this entire building?
About 40,000 feet of track.
That's almost 8 miles. When you come up with an idea for a mountaintop, how does it start? Do you draw it first?
This took a couple years to design this. So every square inch of it was planned out before he even built the building.
Why do they come and see your museum?
Well, it's a very spectacular show that we put on here. It takes 2 or 3 hours to go through. We run about 90 trains, 90 systems, and we could run 120. Trains are big, trains are fun around the Christmas tree.
When did you first start to really love trains?
I got my first train set when I was 4 years old. It was a Lionel train set. I kept complaining there was no tunnel, so they took the track apart, put it under one corner of the bed, and I had my tunnel.
Well, I know as a kid, I had model trains growing up, and I would spend hours building the models and piecing all the tracks together and making sure that the electricity flowed the right way. It's electricity that runs these trains, right?
Yes.
So how many watts of power does it take to run this building?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Thousands of watts to run.
Is that because there's so many trains?
Trains and light.
So this place is amazing. And Bruce,
clearly you've put all of your heart and soul into it. Tell us, why do you think something like this is so great to do?
Well, if you have a passion for something, a love of something, and you put a little dedication to it and a lot of hard work, you can do anything. If you have a talent to do something, you got to give it to the world.
We saw the model trains, but we also heard that you have a real train. Is that true?
Yep, right alongside the building, we run a narrow gauge train ride. It goes through our tunnel along the river. It's pretty neat.
Wow, that is neat. And anybody can ride it?
Yep, regular train.
Get on board?
Just get on board, pay your fee, and away you go.
Ah, that is so cool. So my friends, with some passion, dedication, a lot of hard work, and a great big imagination, you can make anything come true. Bruce, tell us, before we say goodbye, one more thing about why it's so important to make your dreams come true.
You have to dream about something. You have to love something. And you have to follow that up with a lot of work and dedication. If you can dream something up wonderful, no matter what it is, and you follow that up with dedication and hard work, you can achieve anything, literally.
These guys are icons. This is when you think about wild North American animals, this is what you think. And these guys just love this weather. They run, they play.
When we were walking up to this exhibit, I noticed they came running towards us. And the first thing I noticed was their eyes, their yellow eyes just staring right at us. Tell me about those eyes.
And I think that's one of the things that people think of when they think of wolves. It's a haunting, piercing stare when they look at you. It's intimidating, it's scary, it's exciting, it's visual. They watch the people as much as we watch them.
And that's what it seems like.
And on a day like this, when there's not a lot of visitors here, we're a unique thing for them. So they'll come out and look at us.
Yeah.
On a busy summer day, they'll be asleep in the shade.
Well, I know I love my dogs, and people say a dog is a man's best friend, but a wolf, who's a wolf's best friend?
A wolf is another wolf's best friend.
That's what I thought.
They're a pack animal. They live in groups. They don't belong in a household. They're a wild animal.
Next up, a visit to the Wonder Why exhibit hall.
Are you wondering why I brought you to this exhibition?
I am wondering why.
I couldn't help it. Here in this exhibition, we're going to discover all sorts of different fun things in science. This is kind of a potpourri, a whole bunch of different things. You're going to make the biggest bubble you have ever seen.
Really?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you like to blow bubbles?
I love to blow bubbles.
Me too. I want you to slowly pull on that lever there. Nice and slow. Now, if you see...
There it is.
It's beginning. This is the Bernoulli ball. The Bernoulli principle is all about how air moves. We were talking earlier about being on an airplane. Right. Now, have you ever taken off in an airplane before?
Sure.
Now, have you ever wondered how something so big could get up in the air and stay there?
Often.
I know, right? So the ball is sticking there because as the air moves past it really, really fast, that's the high pressure air. And that's keeping it steady right in the middle there. But it's holding underneath, there's all that low pressure air, and on the top and the bottom, that's keeping it exactly in the right spot for it to keep floating right there.
So Thomas, what is this beautiful object right here?
It is beautiful, isn't it? It's a kaleidoscope. And by spinning that, we get to discover all sorts of things about the way liquid moves, or dynamics.
A kaleidoscope?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, it's kind of like a kaleidoscope.
I like it. Give it another spin.
Let's try it. Wow. All right, here we go. My hands have these grooves, and my feet are on these tiny little steps. I'm climbing Mount Everest.